day I wake up is another blessing. Thankful every second, getting God's protection. I lost connection in the desert, I had no reception. But in that time alone, I probably learned 1,000 lessons. I used my time for introspection and some self-reflection, and analyzed a couple ways to conquer my depression. Everything doesn't happen the way we plan it to, but if we harvest energy, then we can plan it too. So take a look in my eyes, that's where the story lies. I'm telling truth, and that isn't often glorified. I'm showing up, fully present in the moment, realizing self-doubt is my only opponent. So now I'm focused and rolling, the energy is flowing, hoping I stay zoning and my catalog keeps growing. That's the motive, and I'm devoted. My destiny awaits, and I'm not going unnoticed.
Wake up every morning and respect the blessings. Yeah, we made it out, you know that this was destined. Death, pain, scars, love and living reckless. Made it through the storm, yeah, that trip was hectic. Wake up every morning and respect the blessings. Yeah, we made it out, you know that this was destined. Death, pain, scars, love and living reckless. Made it through the storm, yeah, that trip was hectic.
I won't lie to you, baby, I took some summers off, but now I'm back at work trying to cover summer's cost. Had a couple battles, some were won and some were lost, but I fought for my life, I had no other choice. I feel grateful that God gave me another chance, but I don't understand, I still don't fully understand. Lessons learned and feathers earned. You don't think it's possible until it's your turn. Now we fight like we got nothing left to lose. No one else on earth has been in our shoes. Some will consider it paying our dues, but now we rock these battle scars like tattoos.
Wake up every morning and respect the blessings. Yeah, we made it out, you know that this was destined. Death, pain, scars, love and living reckless. Made it through the storm, yeah, that trip was hectic. Wake up every morning and respect the blessings. Yeah, we made it out, you know that this was destined. Death, pain, scars, love and living reckless. Made it through the storm, yeah, that trip was hectic.
Wake up every morning and respect the blessings. Yeah, we made it out, you know that this was destined. Death, pain, scars, love and living reckless. Made it through the storm, yeah, that trip was hectic.
Yo, what's up to the Hype It Up Show? The Hype It Up Show is a show to learn more about your creative people, our creative homies, and our creative friends. And we're going to teach you guys more about our friends. And we're going to be interviewing people and letting you know about them and teaching you more in depth about them. So thank you everyone for being here first and foremost. And if this is your first time watching it, make sure you tune in for more episodes. And today we have Rocco the Great. So Rocco the Great is a superstar artist, YouTuber, all around creative individual. First off, I want to say thank you for Rocco for being here. How you doing?
Feeling great, dude. Feeling great. I'm excited. I'm hype for the Hype It Up show.
The Hype It Up Show, and we're here. So let's get right into the interview. So this is going to be a straight interview style. If you guys want to ask questions, there's a form link in the chat, and you guys could ask your questions, and we'll be answering them later on. So let's get into it. So what's your story, who you are, and what do you do for the people who are just learning about Rocco the Great?
So I am a toy YouTuber. I'm a YouTuber. I had a clothing brand. That's actually how me and you met. About a decade ago, I had a thing called Stay Great Apparel. It was big in the music scene, and it was a lot of fun. But I kind of and I loved it at the time. It was always a dream to have a clothing brand. And when I was younger and in high school, like I was like, I got it. I used to try to draw on shirts and try to figure it out. You know, when you were younger, you're like, how do they do this? And then, I actually quit my job to do Stay Great Apparel. It blew up, it took off, and then we went to Warped Tour. We went, we toured with bands. I was doing artwork for bands and stuff like that. So I've been doing creative things professionally for quite a while. But then the clothing was doing great, but I lost interest, right? So like around maybe, now it's probably like 8 years ago or so, I just kind of like, I got out of the music scene, kind of died down, and my interest and love for it just wasn't there. Now I'm not the type of guy to just do something and kind of like fake it. I have to be doing something that I'm interested in. So I kind of just gave up on the clothing brand, gave up on the YouTube channel, and just kind of refigured out life and recalibrated. And then I don't know what it was though. I just started doing diorama videos on YouTube because I've been a toy collector since I could remember. Like, what was that? Like 18, I started collecting toys when I was like about 18,
Hmm.
and you collect action figures, you make dioramas, you do all this stuff. And I started doing these diorama videos just for fun. They, but I still had my old YouTube channel from when my clothing company was big. So I was like, I'm not using that channel. Let me just start putting things up on it. I privated and deleted. I wish I didn't delete all the old videos. I wish I still had those. And it's like, and then I started doing the diorama videos, but then and I was trying to do them boring. I was trying to do it like just like, do this and just informative. And then my personality started peeking through. I started singing songs. I started doing like weird stuff. And then
Hmm.
I started doing toy hunts. And then boom, my I did a toy hunt, posted it on the YouTube channel. It blew up. It blew up my channel. And now I'm here. I'm making toy hunt videos. I'm doing toy related content. And last year in January, I started my toy company, System Island Toys, where I'm making action figures of my characters that I made throughout my life. So
Wow.
just in short, a little intro right there. I got to work on getting it tighter, but
Wow. So you've always been a creative person, it seems, and it seems like you've always done different things, different types of art, and different types of
mm.
creativity, and letting your creativity shine. How did you get into art? Do you remember what was the first time? Like, what was your first memory of getting into art? Like in general.
So I from what I could remember, I used to get in trouble for drawing in school. Like that's from what I go, and I even asked my mom. Like she said, she still has some of my drawings because they would send them home, and I'm like, you got to get me those. And I still, it's been years. She never got, but I'm sure she does have them somewhere. But I remember back Dragon Ball Z, like blew my mind, and trying to draw their little I still like in my head. It's like the triangle faces, the little hairs, and everything. They're very simple designs that I feel like you could like copy them early, but graffiti and Dragon Ball Z is probably why I do art. From what I could remember, but that's as far back as I could remember. It's those two things.
So it all started from graffiti and seeing Dragon Ball Z. And were you into comics at all at that time?
No. And a lot of people grew up with comics. I grew up with Batman, like animated series, stuff like that. So I was watching cartoons, but and I remember I've been drawing before Dragon Ball Z, but from what I could remember, like the earliest memories I have was drawing Dragon Ball Z characters in school when I should have been working and getting in trouble. But I just always loved graffiti, because like graffiti's a nice mix of, it's like art, but it's also like you're hanging out with your friends doing bad things and it's fun. So it was like always kind of like that mix. And I had friends that did graffiti, and we just kind of, it was just really that whole culture, just creative culture, I guess. I just was always drawing on something.
Hmm. Um. So so you mentioned that you had a clothing brand. So how did you actually start getting into clothing?
So what's funny was, back in the day, MySpace was still around. Like this is back when MySpace was still around. I just started posting my art on MySpace, right?
Hmm.
And people started being like, "Hey, I like this." So I just kept posting, and then people were like, "Hey, could you put this on a shirt? Could you put this on a shirt?" And then really, that's kind of just where it's funny because like it kind of just fell into my lap, but I put it out there. It was just like, "Hey, we like your art. We want to support. Can you put it on a shirt or something like that?" So I remember going to trying to figure it out. I have a picture, dude. I have a picture in an old account that I found recently of my original shirts that I started were on Hanes V-necks, and I made a template. So like I made it like a template, and I copied it. I would put the shirt. This is it right here. This is how I started. I had a shipping box, right?
Mm-hmm.
I would pull a shirt over the shipping box, and then uh, underneath the shipping box, I drew the design. So then I saw through the shirt. I would just try to copy the design with hand paint, and I painted the shirts by myself, like on by hand, and then I put them up on Etsy. And I still remember I have a screenshot of the listing. I don't
Wow.
know. Yeah, so it's like I just started with what I had in person, and then I built up. I would whatever I had on hand. Then I saved up some money, and I tried to find a local printer, and they messed up my shirts. And then I still remember, like, I was done. I was like, I could have just gave up right there. The
Mm.
printer sucked. They screwed me over. They overcharged me. They messed up my shirts. They didn't listen to me, and I remember I was like gonna quit, and
S-
I'm so glad I didn't, because what it turned into, and that's like the thing. If you have like a snafu or a mess up, you can't quit. You
mm.
got to keep going, because everything that came after that, from me just saying, just try it again. That's all.
It's kind of part of the process, right? Messing up and then just
Yeah.
overcoming those mess ups and errors. Um, so so was that the brand, the Stay Great brand at that time, or was it
So
just
so I had the name Rocco the Great. In I think my senior year in high school, I was starting to do art more serious, and I was like, I need a name, like, because I'm from the age of MySpace, back in the day, where you had like a scene name, like
mm.
your name would be Johnny Boombots or something, or Jakey Frakey, or some weird. It was always these weird names, so I was like, my name is just so boring and very Italian and hard to say for people, and people still. It's my name isn't Rocco, it's Rocco, but everyone says Rocco because of Rocco's Modern Life, and that's like the Americanized name. So I was like, I need a name, because everything's about branding. You know this, like, everything we buy is brand. It doesn't matter if something's good, if someone's talented. Everything is branding, and that's like a tip for anyone who's getting into anything. It doesn't matter if you do crochet, you stitch stuff. Branding is everything. So I was like, I need an art name. And I went through a bunch of stuff. I wish I remembered some of the other names, but I think I had it. It was from school. Had a history book, and it was like Alexander the Great. And I just
Mm.
started, just using that. It was something like that. And then I just started writing on my paintings, Rocco the Great, Rocco the Great. And so it's probably around like 2008 is when I got the name. And then I just started using it, and then Stay Great was just like a thing I used to like sign off with. So it was just like at the end of my posts, I would be like Stay Great, and then boom, Stay Great. So it was like Stay Great. It was connected closer to Rocco the Great, and it was like, there you go.
Interesting. That's really interesting. So it was always something great.
Mm. Yeah, yeah. It was always yeah, great.
So your brand Stay Great was very successful. How did it blow up? Like how did it gain such traction? Because that's how we met. We met at Bamboozle. You were
Mm.
doing a pop-up shop, and I know you did a lot of pop-up shops at concerts
Yeah.
and stuff like that. So how did the brand blow up? How did that, like, let's go deep
So
back into the beginning early days.
so can I ask you, how did you find it? And like, how was it on the other side? Because I remember it from my side, but like, I was in it, so I don't know what people. Because it's funny. I just got tagged in a TikTok meme of the 2000s, of like, of that era, the Stay Great era, and my art, the band art I used to do, we'll get to that. The band art I used to do I'm officially a meme. Like, not a meme, but like, it's retro, dude.
Mm.
10 years ago is like retro now, and people are remembering when I used to do those band arts, and it was like I just got tagged, and it really came full circle. So the fact that we're talking about Stay Great apparel right now is wild. But so yeah, when you saw it, like, how did you? Because my thing was, the company had hype. Like I had hype around me. People were talking about me, and the other brands that when I because I was coming up, they didn't like me, and they actually got me. A few brands had me kicked, like stayed off of Warp Tour. And if I would have got on Warp Tour in my heyday, like when I had the most hype, it would have been, who knows where it would have went. I
Hmm.
wound up eventually getting on Warp Tour, but it was towards the end when Warp Tour was almost dead. So I know for a fact, like I had a lot of beef with some of the other clothing brands in the scene because they didn't like that my stuff was blowing up so much.
Interesting. So, um, the chat's saying you're a little quiet. If you could talk into the, I don't know.
Yeah, how hold on.
So the way I found
Let me
you
see.
uh was through when I went to Bamboozle. Bamboozle was a concert. A Bamboozle was a concert. So I went to Bamboozle and I seen you were doing a pop up shop, and I already had What a Funk at the time, and I was like, I always like to show support and see what other people are up to, like doing stuff that was something that I wanted to do because I was like in the beginning when I first started, wasn't really doing pop up shops, so I wanted to do like more pop up shops and stuff like that at events like you were doing. So I wanted to see what you were about and what you were doing, and I thought you were cool, so I followed you, and I've been following you since then.
Yeah, yeah, you've seen the old stuff. Now, how can I raise my volume on here? You know what it is? I think you might be a little loud.
Um,
Maybe you lower yours and then people could turn their volume up because I remember when I actually have you down pretty low on my
all
headphones
right,
because
let me see.
do you think that's could it be that you're loud or I'm low because I've never heard in my whole life that I've been low. Usually I'm like people are blowing their ears out. Let me see because I don't have any other headphones, do I?
If you go to let me see.
I promise we troubleshot this,
We
guys,
did. We
behind the
we
scenes,
we
but
did for 20 minutes.
okay, here we go.
No, if you go to the settings on the meeting thing, it might show that it's not, you're not using the microphone. Maybe it's picking up from the computer.
Dude, that's it. I'm probably not using this microphone.
Yeah,
Hold
you
on.
have to go to the settings and then put the mic on.
Where's the settings? Oh, I hate this, guys. I'm sorry.
It's
Hold
all
on.
good.
Where's this?
It's all good. This is the first episode, guys. This is
Yeah.
how it's gonna. We gotta work out the kinks and figure it out. It's the three dots on the bottom, and then near the end
Oh,
quote.
there it is. Okay.
Yeah, and
I
then
bet
just
you. Yeah, yeah. Mike, guys, thank you. External? That's yeah. External means external. Guys, how do I sound now? External means outside. Yes. So it was my computer. You guys caught that. Let me see. See, StreamYards does this all for you, Joe. John. John. I'm used to talking to Joe. My bad. Hold on. Are we good? Are we good now, guys?
I don't know. Let's see it.
All right. It takes a second. Oh yeah. Turn me up on the OBS. They said. All right. I think I checked it. I think we're good. Okay. Stute says good. All right. My
All
bad,
right, everyone.
guys.
Everyone says good. All right, perfect. All right, so back into what we were saying. So, so, so why do you think your brand was so why do you think your brand was so successful? You said how it blew up through doing the events, but like
Mm.
what do you think that why do you think like your brand really took off compared to like anyone else trying to do the same type of
Uh,
thing, you know?
what I believe is when you're doing something from and this is how I go in everything in life. And I think that's why, even though I always restart stuff and I try new things, I usually have some success in them because I just believe in being like genuine. I think people could really catch that and they could see that and your vibe is really you're not giving when you give people a product, you're not giving them a product. You're giving them a vibe. So I was doing YouTube videos back in the day. I was doing art. My Tumblr was humongous. I was big on Tumblr back in the day. And my art was getting shared out all over the place. I was doing band art of if you look up Rocco the Great band art, you'll find it. Can you screen share? Can you actually look it up and see if it comes up or
Not
not on the?
not yet. We'll
We'll
get
get there,
them.
guys. Just you guys do some homework.
Yeah.
Look up my old band artwork, and it was just like I think it was like people were buying my shirts because of me, not because of the designs. And I always, and I still feel like that. Like people buy, I think my figures are amazing, but a lot of I feel like people are buying them because it's part of the crew. Like it's part of, you're part of this.
Mm.
You're part of what we're doing here. It's the YouTube, it's the live stream, it's the Goose Gang. Like people are friends. People are even here. Like even just the people around me. It's like there's a whole thing here. So it's like if you're doing something fun and you're having fun and you mean it, like it's not like just people want to just be success. People want followers for no reason. It's like
Mm-hmm.
my whole thing is, what do you want followers for? What are you doing?
Yeah.
Like people like, I had a viral video, my cat fell out of a tree. It's like, yeah, do you think that means they're following you, or do they like cat videos?
Mm-hmm.
So my whole thing was always like, look at everything you're doing is not, I never, and this was the thing too, I never tried to get followers. Like when I started posting my art and I started doing Tumblr and I was doing Stay Great Apparel, I didn't even know I was doing well until I got my tax form at the end of the year, and they were like, my hun, then girlfriend, opened it up and said, "Whoa, this is good." I said, "Is that?" I didn't know. I didn't even know I was. I didn't even know I was making money because I was having fun and just I was looking at it from not a point of a job, not a point of money, not a point of like, we're gonna be famous, we're gonna do this. I was just kind of just having fun. I was doing, just making things and
Yeah.
doing things, and I guess other people could feel that, and it just, I mean, I didn't even know it was successful until I got my tax return, and then I had to pay the biggest tax thing I've ever had in my life, and it was like wild. So
So you were doing a lot of events and stuff. Do you think that helped out the brand at all, or do you think it was
I don't
mostly
think so.
no?
Everything was online. I think you just connect to people online, and the events were fun. I did those for me, but they were never really. I personally, but you know what? Don't know, because now I'm saying that when I. That's the thing too. Hold on. I've always been like I go above and beyond. So when I was at Bamboozle, I actually got away from my tent. I would go in front of the tent. I have a picture. I'm so happy. I have a picture. I made this, like I spray painted like and wrote stuff. I was like, come check out this thing. And I would bother every person walking by and be like, just look at my thing. Just look at my thing. And everyone else around me, they just never assume that your shit is good and people are just gonna come to you.
Yeah.
That's like I never. I don't think I'm great. I not hold on. I don't have an ego. The first thing you got to do if you're into creatives, in my opinion, because you'll get humbled. Throw your ego away.
Hmm.
I was just like, and people have too much shame to promo. If you're not promoting yourself, what are you doing? Who cares about you?
Exactly.
So it's like, I don't know. I got out there and I talked to everybody and I bothered everybody and I tried to, like, I use every second I get. Someone will just sit behind their table and hope people come to them.
Hmm.
I didn't let that happen. I was like, come over here, check my stuff out. You don't even have to buy it, just look at it and walk by. And that's what I was. And it's just, maybe that's just my personality, but I'm always like, if I'm in a space, I'm gonna do my thing. I'm gonna get people. I'm gonna talk to people. You
I
know,
love that. That's the hustler mentality. So the hustler mentality kind of when you're trying to do your own thing and a creative individual as well, you need to hustle it because
have
it's
to.
your art and
Yeah.
the stuff that you're creating. Uh, so do you think you were always a hustler like before the art, or was it just
So my
because you were doing art that doing
so
your own thing that made you want
with
to hustle?
without disrespect to my family, because I felt like I always grew up good, but we didn't grow up how people grew up. Like, I got stuff when, like, for Christmas and stuff, and I remember I have great memories. And now that I'm a parent, I never want to, like, I'm not bad mouthing my family, but we just weren't like how people are. Some people had like even middle class or above, you're doing good. So I always had to work. So even when I was young, I had to figure out ways to get money to do stuff, or else I was, when I was younger, I would just go out with my friends and I would watch everybody eat, and I would just sit there and I would just be like, because I didn't have it like that. So I think that when you grow up not having much, you have to work, or else you don't get nothing. So it's like, since I could remember, my mom says, my grandma, I was always trying to sell Pokemon cards on the flea market, like on the playground. And my grandma has this story she always tells. Uh, my grandparents watched me a lot growing up, and they lived in Brooklyn. So I was on their block, and I found a thing of candles. Someone threw out a whole like a just like a box of candles. So she said I set up in front of their house, and I would just try to sold these candles to people walking by. And she said that was like her first time, that like when I was really young. And so it's like, just I've always been doing in high school I sold candy to people.
It's amazing.
So I was always hustling, or else I didn't have money to eat. So it was just like, to me, and I'm thankful for that, because now I just have that hunger and that drive. And it's like, when you grow up and you're comfortable, you're comfortable. You're not working hard. You're not trying to get it. And that's something I believe, that you either have it or you don't have it. You can't gain that hustle. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You
I don't
kind
know.
of have to have it in you already.
Yeah.
It's not like something you could learn to have. It's something that you
Yeah, because if
already
you're happy, say you're happy right now,
yeah,
you're not going to work as hard as if you're dying to make it happen. So it's
exactly.
like, I go through everything in life as if it has to, like, everything. I give everything.
So let's take it back to building a community, because I think
Mhm.
that's something that you do very well, and something that has obviously helped you, even when you're talking about, when you had the clothing brand till now you have the huge YouTube channel with an awesome community, and a toy line that has a great community around it. Um how do you think is the best way for people who are trying to learn how to build their own community? Say they don't have anything right now, so they don't have,
Mm.
they have zero. How do you start from zero, like on building a community around something that you're creating, or something of your art, or whether it be your art, your music, your anything that you're making? How do you build a community around that? What is some tips that you think would, like, some good tips that people could
Hmm.
take from this?
First of all,
Um,
I have to say, great questions.
Nice.
Seriously, like, I'm, and thank you for having me on. Like, I appreciate this.
Thank you, man. I
Um,
really appreciate it.
I think that the problem is in the question. You shouldn't be thinking about that.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like, don't go into things expecting, like, I didn't start YouTube because I was like, one day I'm gonna have people here, we're gonna have a community, we're gonna hang out, like, and they're gonna be supporters. I always assume that you're in my head, my whole thing is, you're as good as your last thing. So it's like, if I'm not giving them content, and if I'm not giving people, like, I think it's just, you got to give people stuff. Give them content. Don't assume that you are owed anything. I think, and that's why people give up, because they're like, I put out this awesome thing. Too bad. Why is it all like, sell me on it? Why is this a thing? So my whole thing was, I don't look at people as, like, oh, well, they're a fan, or they're a follower, or this. A lot of people are so worried about followers, right?
True.
And I always get people go, it's easy for you to say, you got, my YouTube channel has almost 50K, but I don't look at the subs, because one, it doesn't matter to me. Two, because I don't believe the numbers. To a lot of the stuff, I have a whole theory about TikTok and YouTube. They kind of put the carrot on the stick to keep you posting and stuff like that. My whole thing is just putting out good stuff and making connections to people. People are so worried about going viral, but why are you going viral? Are you going viral? Like, I'm lucky that my video that went popular is me being me,
Mm,
because a lot of people are chasing fame, and they're chasing the clout. But why would you have it? It's like, are you doing good art? Then people will find you. You're doing dude,
yeah.
when I saw your stuff, it's like, I like you. I liked your style. You have your stuff in zoomies. I remember I did a few toy hunts where I went out looking for it. It's like, create create an environment where people want to be. That's it. You can't trick people. they won't last. Like, look, I'm talking to you. You knew me 10 years ago.
Yeah.
You know, there's some Paula, Adriana. There's a lot of people who still stuck around that saw the old clothing, they liked it, and they stuck around and all this stuff. So it's like, I think people are too much worried about like figuring things out instead of just create your best products ever. Have fun promoting them, and people will be there. And you got people here. I always see, dude, I'm going through my stories. I see What a Funk stuff. I'm like, oh, good. He's getting out there. He's making it happen.
Yeah.
And yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I definitely agree with what you're saying 100%. I feel like people need to put, like you're saying, put yourself out there and be yourself.
Mm.
But getting to that point, some people are scared to be themselves, uh especially online in front of a huge audience.
Mm-hmm.
You're very vulnerable to hate. Like, people could not like you, people could say mean things to you because it's online. um so obviously so obviously that happens when you're putting yourself out there. There's going to be people who are, not going to like you or not going to agree with who you
Mm.
are, which is just how it is, in life. But what is some stuff like, what would some advice you would give to people who are trying to put themselves out there and be themselves?
Mm.
um what is some advice do you have for them to be themselves, um and how to uh how to take the comments, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
How do you take
So,
all, like, the comments in that are
mm.
negative towards you, or what is some advice you would give to people who want to, like, put themselves out there but are afraid to hear, like, negative stuff?
So fear is a big thing, right? Fear is what stops everybody from doing stuff, no matter what age you are, right? And I learned a long time ago that I love doing things. I love putting myself out there. You have to be able, like, if you're behind what you're doing, right? When I made Goose Faba, take for example, you think it's like I didn't go, if nobody buys this, I'm gonna. My whole thing was, I can't believe I made this, and I'm so happy with it that if nobody buys it, I got 10 Goose Fabas I'm keeping, you
Hmm.
know? And I think you have to go through, it's kind of like the free fall. You have to believe in yourself, and then nobody's opinions. And my whole thing is like, you can listen, and my whole thing, I like listen to hate, right? So you could tell if someone's criticizing you or just flat out just trying to hate on you. And a lot of times it's like, if someone is hating on you, then why would you even listen to them? Because they don't like you.
Hmm.
Like, if you
Exactly.
don't if you don't like broccoli, do you care if the broccoli is upset you didn't eat it? It's like, what?
Yep.
I don't care, dude. I got, and that's the, you just stop caring, stop thinking so much. Just put yourself out there. But the thing is too, it's easy to psych yourself out when you don't believe in what you're doing.
Mm.
So it's like, if you're insecure with what you're doing and you're putting yourself out there, then you're going to feel silly, because
Mm.
you're going to feel extra stupid. Because, like, even when I do something and I love it, even if other people don't like it and it fails, my whole thing is, nothing is a failure because you could learn from it.
Hmm.
And it's like, I'd rather do something and be like, okay, people weren't ready. Like, the skull crates, people weren't ready for them yet when I put them out. They did well. I was happy with them, but I felt like they didn't do as well as my other stuff. So what I learned was, okay, more figures, because a lot of people didn't even get the figures yet. So they're not going to be buying they're not going to get accessories unless they get the figures first. So if you, I could have gave up. Boom. I'm
Yeah.
not, you know what? I didn't sell out. I'm not doing this no more. But it's like, okay, I saw, I and that's the thing too. Everyone blames everybody else. When something happens to me, I go, what did I do?
Mm.
What can I do to make it better?
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people too, it's like, my shirt didn't sell. Everyone's an idiot. They don't know I'm a genius. And it's like, no, your shirt wasn't good enough,
Y-
or you didn't promote it enough. And it's
Yeah.
like, you could suck. People, that's it. Sometimes you just suck. Some people suck. And it's like, I do stuff that sucks. Sometimes I'll be in love with a video, Joe. I'm sorry. I just did a lot. I'm always yelling at Joe. I'm sorry, John.
You're fine.
Joe is the guy I do a show with on Mondays and Wednesdays. So please, guys. I'm not even used to calling you John. I usually call you WHADAFUNK, but I'm
Nah,
trying to be.
whatever.
But yeah,
Um,
I don't know, dude. It's just wild like that. Just stop thinking so much.
yeah, I agree with that. I 100% agree with that.
But also listen to criticism because you're not perfect
Yeah.
and you could learn. You
Yeah,
know.
it's good to be open to other ideas and be aware if someone's just being hateful towards you,
Mm.
you
Yeah,
know?
and even in some hate, you could learn something about yourself too.
Hmm. True. True. So Rocco has his own toy line, created a bunch of figures and System Island, Goose Faba, Fat Cap Joe, to name a few. How did you get into the toy community? Were you always a collector?
So believe it or not, I went on my first toy hunt leading up to The Dark Knight. You know the that great movie from Christopher Nolan, the Batman movie, The Dark Knight? My friends in school, they were nerds, right? I
Yeah.
was into the music scene. I cared about girls and music and
Yeah.
nothing else. I wasn't into comic books or nerd stuff or toys or any of that.
Mhm.
And then, I met Hun, I met my girlfriend, and I was kind of settling down, and then my friends were big nerds. They would go on toy hunts. And I said, "What's a toy hunt?" So I went on a toy hunt once with my friend Billy and John. We went on a toy hunt. I still remember we went to Jersey. We went to a Walmart and they explained everything. They said some figures have a chase and this, and boom, I fell in love. I went on eBay. I made an account. I started buying things. I started going to stores, toy hunting, and throughout my clothing brand and doing all this stuff, I still collected toys. And I just loved that you could, because I love art, right? So
Yeah.
what is a toy? It's basically art that you could hold in your hand,
Mhm.
you know? And so I went, whoa. And I was opened up to this whole new world. And it's such a good hobby, dude. Guys, in life, you need a hobby. A hobby is the most important thing. You need something in life that you can do that makes you happy that your wife can't do, that your husband, your dad, your mom, you need something that you know how to make yourself happy. And once I found toys, I was like, oh my God, I'm in love. So,
That's interesting. That's really interesting. I
mhm,
like to hear how you got into collecting and toys in general because I always
mhm.
wondered. Uh, so what inspired you to create your own toy line? Because you created your own toy line, which is amazing. It's selling out. It's going crazy. People are loving it, and they're awesome figures. I own a couple of pieces myself, and they're really awesome. I like collecting like cool art, and I like collecting stuff from other artists. So what was the inspiration behind like what made you say like okay, it's time for me to create. You said you were collecting. What was the
Yeah.
thing that made you say like, all right, it's time for me to make my own line?
Okay, so I'm glad. That's a great dude. Great questions tonight. I have to just say, great questions. Sometimes I see an interview and I'm just like, oh, he's not asking what we want to hear. And at least personally, I feel like you're asking really great questions, and I appreciate it. So,
Like,
um, back 10 years ago, when I was in the height of my stay great, you know, I was kind of known as the guy that did the art of the bands, right? And being a creative, I don't like being locked down to like one thing or another. So I was doing these band arts. I had the clothing merch, and I just was like, I wanted to make I was a collector of art toys. So personally, I like art toys. Those are like the weird toys from artists that
yeah,
maybe don't have articulation. Maybe they're colorful. I have a few up in front of me, and like here, like this is like Kid Robot, dude. When I was younger, I remember when Kid Robot first made toys, and I have a picture, dude. I have a picture of my childhood room when I used to, me and my friends used to borrow stuff from Urban Outfitters, and we would borrow the Kid Robot figures and never give them back.
that's
But
amazing.
these are like old Kid Robot figures, and these like I was like, this is so cool. So in my height of Stay Great Apparel, I said, you know something? My YOLO attitude. I'm making one. I'm gonna figure it out. I put together because there was a whole thing called like bootleg toys where you kind of kit bash some figures together and you make something new and then you cast it in a people were casting a lot back in the day. Now everyone 3D prints everything. So this is what you got to do, guys. If you want to do something, just go out, find people. And this is something I learned. I'm going to get back. I'm doing a circle. I learned this from Quentin Tarantino. You don't have to be the best at everything. You just got to know who to work with and make the best product. You know, like
Mm.
Quentin Tarantino is probably not the best editor. He's not the best photographer, all this stuff, but he knows who to collab with, and you work together and you make the best product. So I reached out to a guy who was making the best action figure headcasts. So in the community, in the action figure community, say I want this Joker figure head cast, but the figure is like $100. I'm not buying this to paint over and ruin a figure.
Mm.
So what people were doing was they would take a popular head and they would recast it and sell it, so you could paint the recast.
Oh.
So I just was like, I don't have to go to China. I don't have to go to a factory. I'm gonna ask this guy if he could. This I made this like a little figure all by myself, and I said, "Could you cast this in different colors?" He goes, "Yeah, let's try it." So I made. This is my original toy, Fat Cap Joe. 2014, I made it, and I made like a wave of 20 something, and then I made a second wave, and then I made a third wave. We had 3 waves of these, and I even made another figure at that time. But and they did great, dude. They did great, but my following was like more in the music scene. So
Mm.
like I had some people that were like it just didn't work. It wasn't right. And that's a lot of times I see people too. Sometimes you have a great idea and you have something there, but it's not the right time. So
Yeah.
like if you like I made Goose Fob in 2003. He lived with me my whole life. I've been doing that graffiti, that thing, that tag right behind the neon light. I've been doing that graffiti since I was 13. And so in last year, I was like, I got this YouTube following, and I was like, I could make stuff. You know, I don't like just doing status quo. I was like, I got this following on YouTube, and what can I do with it? Like, I was like, I was drawing my Goose Faba again, and I was just like drawing him. And I remember I made, I have it in my little case right here. I made like basically a mock up of clay of a 12-inch scale Goose Faba head. So
Mm.
one day, because it was like now everyone has 3D printers, you could go look out who 3D prints, who sculpts,
Yeah.
and find somebody. So in my hallway, it was just sitting there. I had this like bootleg Goose Faba head that I just sculpted out of clay that I was like, oh, that looks cool. Like I made it for myself. And I
Mm.
just said, you know something? It clicked. One day it just clicked. I said, I could reach out to somebody, make them remold this in 3D print. I could print them out, do this whole thing. And I don't even know what I must have been like smoking something, because I just took a chance. I just said, you know what? Let's do it.
Yeah.
And it worked. And I'll never looking back. It's great. And I appreciate everybody like you. You were one of the first people you supported right from the beginning. You have a goose fob ahead, and I appreciate that, man.
Yeah, it's really really dope. I like to see like all your creations from, your YouTube videos to to the toy line. Um so how does the toy hunting how does the toy hunting like how did the toy hunting videos start on your YouTube channel? Because let's talk about your YouTube channel. Let's go back and talk about your YouTube channel. So
Yes.
your YouTube channel started when you had the brand, the clothing brand?
No, I actually made it when I had it. Like YouTube opened, and
Yeah.
I made one. And me
Uh-huh.
and my friends were always trying to make. It was started as like sketch videos we made. I wish I still had those.
Like
Me and my
skits?
yeah, we were just for fun before
Yeah.
YouTube even had monetization, like a long time ago. We were just making skits, and we were doing, as a creative person, I just was like, I always like to create things even if it's not for anybody. So we were making these skits, and then yeah, the blow up with the Stay Great apparel. I was making content back then. I used to make vlogs, and I
Mm.
made the mini movies. I'm sure you remember some of the mini movies. Those were like a fan favorite, where I would make these. We called them Stay Great mini movies, and they were just like kind of like a month in my life with all my friends and all the stuff we were doing. I would put it together with a cool song, and I was always doing vlogs. So Hun and I were actually making toy hunt videos before I had a chat, like before I was doing them online. Like we were making videos, and we were making flea market videos and stuff like that. So it kind of just before I killed my channel, I was actually just making flea market videos.
Mm.
I called it Flea Market Jackpot. And some of them are still up if you go far, far back. So, you know, throughout the whole time I was on YouTube, I always had like a spurt where I would try stuff. I would always try things. And I think you have to be opening to trying and failing and just trying stuff. A lot of people never try because they're like, I'm gonna fail.
Yeah.
So it's like my YouTube, and you could probably go back on my Social Blade. Like there'll be years I never post anything, and then I'll come back and I'll post every day, and then so you know I've been at this forever, and then you know then recently I started up and I had a focus. Like my YouTube channel never had a focus. It was just like, what is it now? It's a toy channel,
Yeah.
and you know it's kind of more than that because I peek through no matter what I'm doing, but um that's really what it is. I think if you're just putting stuff out there and and people will gravitate towards it eventually, the right people. That's my whole thing. I'm not trying to get everybody.
Yeah.
And that's too, I think when you're trying to get everybody, you get nobody.
I agree.
You
I
know, like
agree.
what, you know, you're going to get people that like your style no matter what. There's going
Yeah.
to be someone who doesn't like you. You make hats. Like what, why would somebody hate you, John? But somebody is out there hating you right now.
Yeah.
It just, you can't think of that. You
Th-
know, it's just the way it is. People are wild.
yeah, that's kind of like part of like we said before, it's part of like creating something and doing your own type of thing. And you do a live show every week. When did that start? When did the live show start?
So I watch live streams all day. Like though I watch people, I love live streams. I don't watch toy live streams because I don't want to hear about toys. That's just the way it is. I watch like drama YouTubers, drama live streams and stuff like that. It's my channel. Like what I watch is the randomest thing because it's like you would be like, and you're a toy channel. Like what? There's no like my watch history is like you wouldn't even know it's me. I watch Pokemon videos and like YouTube drama. It's very weird. But I always loved again, it's like a thing. I like it, so I'm gonna try it. So
Yeah.
I still remember I started up a live. I was in my garage and I had like 3 people in it. And then it went to 5 people. And then it went to 7. I remember how excited I was when I had 7 people in a live stream. I still remember that. Like,
Amazing.
and that's the thing. Someone will go, I only had 7 people and never do it again.
Mhm.
But I was like, whoa, I had 7 people in the live stream. I'm just here hanging out talking. And then it kind of like, it spiraled into, I remember when I hit 30 people in a live stream. And I was like, whoa, that's cool. And then the Koof happened. And that's when I started making a show. That's when I brought you on, a few of them.
Mhm.
I would bring other YouTubers on. And every YouTuber that I tried to be nice and promote and tell people to start, they all scummed me over.
Mm.
Everybody. So that's the thing too, is when you put yourself out there, you're gonna get effed over. You're gonna but you I feel like you can't let that stop you because then I would have never met Joe. And Joe's been like my guy now. Now I have a guy, Joe from Real Shift. Me and him do 2 shows. Monday on my channel at 8 o'clock, we do a live stream, and Wednesday, that's tomorrow, on his channel at 8 o'clock, we do a show. And it's like you can't be afraid. It's like dating, right? When you were younger, a girl has scummed us all over, I'm sure. I had a really bad heartbreak early on, which I'm thankful for because it really made me who I was after that. But you have to get really hurt or scummed over to realize like and keep going, to realize like you're gonna find somebody nice, you're gonna find somebody that sucks, and that's just the way it goes. And you can't let the people that suck ruin your everything, because then it's like, you know, I'm sure you're gonna meet people, you're gonna collab with people, and they're gonna scum you over. It's just the way it goes.
Yeah.
And it's
So
like, and one of those people, they don't do YouTube anymore. So who's laughing now? You know what I'm saying?
so how do you get over that? How do you get like how so for someone else who like doesn't have such a strong thick skin like what is some advice for someone to get over something like that who is not like, you know, you've done it for a while, you're used to it, you know what to expect. Like say it's your first time like for your you know like you're saying a girl or a boy first
Mm.
heartbreak or first something, your first failure. How do you get over that first time like when you're like first starting out and you and like what's some tips that for some people who've never done it before to get over that?
just keep moving. Stay busy.
Just keep it going.
Stay busy. Somebody, someone's in the chat right now, and they were like, how do you feel about this? Because I had a falling out with this other person that I was talking to like all the time, and they said, "Oh, how do you?" And I was like, "Oh, like I genuinely didn't think of that person because it wasn't on my end. It was like someone we had a falling out. I tried, and then I moved on, and I really did not think of the person until that person mentioned him, and it's like." Right now what I care about, I only care about a few things. I care about my family and supporting my family with the house. If I got to make sure bills are paid, I got to make sure I'm a father now. I have to make sure take all the YouTube, a job, none of this means anything because you could get a new job, you could do another thing. I don't take anything serious because it's a joke. Life's a joke, dude.
Yeah.
The Joker said it best. Life is a joke. Nothing matters. If I stop making videos tomorrow, it's not going to affect anybody. And a lot of people think everything's so important and everything matters so much when it's like, just have fun. Dude, don't think about what's going to happen if I fail. Think about what's going to happen if I don't try.
Exactly.
Bro,
Exactly.
you never know when you're going to die. You never
True.
know when you're going to, John, when are you going to die?
Who knows?
Who knows, bro? I can't imagine worrying about, especially if someone doesn't like you, you're gonna spend your time thinking about that. We keep it moving, man. And this is a kind of I'm very disconnected. Like I don't care about stuff, and that
Yeah.
could be bad because like you should care about some things. But I think maybe the way I grew up too, it was like I just there's like stuff that people care about that don't matter.
Mm.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like you have a clothing brand. I'm on the internet being a fool of talking about toys. I met people who were serious about toys and like they wanted to start drama with people. I'm like, are you what? This is like we're clowns, bro. We're clowns up here. Me and you
Yeah.
right now. We're court jesters with the crowd dancing around entertaining them.
It's
It's
true.
not more than that. It's not that serious. Have fun and just create stuff or just go whack off in your room. Whatever makes you happy. Like stop thinking so much. I wish if we could turn everyone's brain off and just live your life.
Yeah. So
That's it, man.
so pretty much just keep it moving, something
Yeah,
you just
sorry,
have to.
no long ass slants, but it's true. It's just like, dude, just like, what if you overthought starting What a Funk? We wouldn't
Yeah,
be here talking right now.
exactly. So you
Like
guys,
you're in Zoomies. That was like, when I had the brand, I always wanted to be in a store,
that was my goal as well.
right?
Yeah.
But now you realize like you probably do better online than you do at stores. But for you, it was something you wanted to do, right? Like it was something that made you feel like I want to be in the store. I want to do this,
Yeah, so it's something you just gotta do what you want to do, and just pretty much don't care what other people's ideas or opinions are gonna be, as
Mm,
long as you're happy doing it and you're happy doing your thing. Then that's really all that really matters.
mm.
So let's get back into your toy line System Island, because I had some
Oh,
more
thank you.
questions
Yeah.
about that. So first, I have there's a interesting question. What is the hardest part of, so like, to anybody listening who has their own toy line and they see you have someone who has created their own toy line, what is the hardest part? Like, what was the hardest part of creating System Island, creating Goose Five? What was the hardest part about creating it?
So I think a lot of people think too big. I know
Mm,
we're always taught to dream big, right? But when you dream big, you might psych yourself out. I think it's almost better to not dream small. Have your big ideas, but you got to start somewhere.
mm,
Everyone's like, I'm not trying to be Toys R Us right now. You know what I mean? I'm not
yeah.
trying to be Mattel and Hasbro. You got to, start small. And again, I think it goes back to like humbling yourself, right? So it's like I started Stay Great Apparel with very low expectations to where I'm gonna make premium high quality figures in small batches. It's basically what I like to say is you're not buying a figure, it's actually art. You're buying art pieces. Like one day when I'm on the level of Cause and bigger than him, people who have a Goose Faba, it's gonna be insane how, like when we have the factory made goose fabas in the future, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there's hundreds and thousands out there. you're gonna have the ones that my little hands put the design on the shirt. I made sure that everything was fitted. I did my little stitching. I pricked my finger. I wrote on the figure. Like, you know, everyone's so ready to be at the end.
Mm,
But you got, like, I'm enjoying the beginning,
exactly.
right? Like, what if someone told you we're gonna put you in every store, you're gonna be in all the hot topics, you're farting. They're like, we love your ideas. You're gonna be what do you do next?
Yeah,
It's over. You're
it's,
done.
it's true.
So it's like, I think that build, right? Like, you know, you don't go into a movie wanting to know at the, like, wanting just to know what it's over. I want to
Hmm.
know everything. I don't want to watch the movie. I'm watching my own movie and I'm like, this is fun.
Yeah. So a tip is pretty much kind of like enjoy the process,
One step in front of the other.
one step in front of the other.
Don't think too much. Like, people are always like, what's next? I'm like, bro, this one's not out yet. Let's make sure you guys love this one before I even think about the next one. And also, it's like, sometimes I'll find myself overthinking, and because,
Mm,
like, I love it so much, and that's too, when you love something too much, you want it to be perfect. There's no such thing. You have to kind of let go and be like, you have to remind yourself, you're doing this for fun. It's a
mm,
toy. And, you know, I was kind of on my last Fat Cap Joe that wound up being a huge hit. The white outfit, everyone loved it. That, you know, I had a last month I had a Fat Cap Joe reboot figure. He had an all white outfit, so cool. I was a little stressed
mm.
for a second. I go, because I wanted it to be, you know, you want to make sure you're doing better than your last thing, right? So I
Yeah.
was like, kind of like, we got to make sure it's perfect. And I said, no, make it cool,
Mm.
make it cool. And I stopped worrying. I put Bad Boys 2 on, and I just was like, all right, this is going here, this is going here, boom, and everyone loved it. So it's just like, shit's
Y-
scary sometimes, man.
Yeah, I feel like that's a lot of creative people have that problem in general is they overthink what they're making, and sometimes they think too much about the person who's going to be getting or
Mm,
receiving or listening to your music or getting your product that you're making, or seeing what you're making, and they're thinking too much of that, and
mm.
instead of
Of
what of
the
them.
end, right? They're
Yeah.
worried about the end. You didn't even start yet. Like, you know, like, you got to get that figure made, make it cool, then worry about other people. Like, do I want people to love my stuff? Yes. When people DM me and go, bro, best figure, literally last week, a new guy that just found us said, best figure I bought. Thank you.
Mm.
In a DM, made my that I could ride off those fumes for a good month or so, you know, because when you're putting a lot of effort into something, you know, I want people to be happy every time they buy something from me,
Yeah,
because
exactly.
I'm doing it for fun. Like, I'm making these figures. You know, it looks like it's not even about the money. It's about, you got to make money, right? Like, you need, always, guys, if you're doing something, you have to make money on it. That's something my dad always said. Don't ever do anything for free. If you're gonna do something, you got to make. Because he was like, one day he did a job. Like, he's like, I need you to do something for me. And he goes, he's like, I was like, all right, but and he gave me money, and I was like, what? You know, he's like, you did a job for me.
Mm.
Here's my, like, you don't, you know, you got to make sure you make them, because if these figures aren't making money, then they'd stop. They're over. So
Yeah.
it's like, you got to make sure you're doing stuff that it's profitable, and but don't do it like, I'm I have 7 other jobs. This one is for fun. And
Yeah.
everything that goes into it goes right back into it. So, like, we just sold the spray paint cans last night, actually. And it was a
Those look cool.
success. Thank you, everybody who bought these. And it's like, now we're on the next thing. You know, it's like, it's on the next thing, but I wait till I finish that thing first. Then I
Hmm.
think about the next thing. So,
Interesting. All right, guys, we have a form in the
mm,
chat. If you guys have any questions, leave it in the form, and Rocco will answer them at the end. So I just want to let you guys know about that. All right. So you just said you don't want to look too much into the future, but like, what is like a big dream that you have for System Island? Like, I know there's always like some kind of big dreams. I mean, at least for me, I'm not sure if it's the
mhm.
same for you. There's some kind of like big dreams that you have
Yeah,
for
goals
the.
are great. Always
Yes.
have goals. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So what is some
Um,
like big dreams or big goals that you're heading towards for System Island? And yeah.
Animated shorts. Um, can't wait. I need the people to know the characters' personalities. Once they know that and they get the vibe of the world, it's over.
Mm.
It's over. That's it. I gotcha. You know, like, because these guys, I know who they are and they live in my head, but it's like I need to get that out to people more. So it's like I would love a comic, an animated series one day. We're gonna do think I want to be Cause double.
Mm.
I look up to him not because he was a graffiti artist from New Jersey. He makes awesome stuff, and I see him as like the top,
Mm.
the top, and not in a way of like I'm not jealous. He worked really hard. I was in high school. My dude was making it happen. So it's like I I you got to have like a vision is good. A vision is good like a path, but also be ready to abandon it tomorrow. You know
Mm.
what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like I want to get more art stuff. I want to do like the more art toy stuff. I want to do a 3-inch figure, a retro 3-inch figure. I want to make we will make figures in a factory one day with boxes and everything. We're going to. We're doing it.
Gotcha. Cool.
We're gonna. I want this year. Start. Remember, think small. I want to make a zine.
That was my next question. Can you give us a little sneak peek? What's next? Like for the people who watch it,
Hmm.
I want some of people to have an exclusive sneak peek of possibly. You don't have to give it all away, but what's next?
Sculpt Troopers.
Skull Troopers.
My first army builder. So we have, so far we have Fat Cap Joe, Goose Faba, and Shadow Goose. Right.
Mm-hmm.
We made 3 unique characters so far. My next character, it's gonna be like the police guys for System Island. They get the graffiti guys.
Gotcha.
They're so they're bad guys basically. So your characters could beat them up. They could run from them. You could do some cool stuff with that. Sculpt Troopers are coming. The design is beautiful. They're on their way, and I'm really excited about that. So Sculpt Troopers, and but a zine. I would love one day. My dream always an art book. I'm going to make an art book one day.
I'm with
Um,
you.
but I want say realistics. Start with a zine.
Yeah.
What do I have to say? Let's
Yeah.
put it in the zine. So my goal this year is I want to get people excited and I want to hype up and I want to figure out what I want to put in it and make the coolest looking zine with maybe it'll have some interviews, it'll have a comics, maybe it'll have like some little mini comics, some really cool artistic stuff. I want to have like one of everything I ever made from System Island in it. And then at the end, I want to have a section of it's called the Goose Gang. So it's like people who did fan art. I have like stuff.
That's cool.
Hold on, I just moved. I had all my fan art right here. Where did I put it?
A zine is a magazine, like a miniature magazine.
It's a small,
so
yeah,
people
it's a
don't know
small
what that is.
magazine. Yeah, it's basically like a magazine that's smaller. So
Yeah.
yeah, and yeah. So at the end, I want to have like a fan art and people that took pictures of their Goose Fabas, their collection, stuff like that, and people's names that supported and all that stuff. So yeah, you're right. People don't. Thank you for that. I have to always remember every time you're talking, people might not know what you mean, right? That's why you got to talk kind of broad. And I'm thank you for inviting me because I want to like get better at doing interviews and I want to have my stuff down packed. So when I do, if other channels ever do invite me on, um, nobody, that's the thing too. It's like, you can't wait around for people to reach out to you.
Yeah.
You got to kind of make your own platform. That's why I love my YouTube channel. I love my live streams because I have my own platform. I don't have to rely on somebody as kind of as John to invite me on to talk about my stuff. You got to get yourself out there and talk to people and make your connections with people. So,
I agree with that.
yeah.
All right, we have a couple more questions, and then we're gonna
Let's
take
do
some
it.
questions from the chat because they have a
F
couple
it, let's
questions
go,
for you.
yeah.
But first, do you have any mentors or anybody that helped you along the way, or anybody that you looked up to, whether it be in art in general, or on YouTube, or just in life, or like, do you have any mentors, anybody that you look up to, not as like, oh, I want to be like them, but anybody who's helped you along the way that just like somehow either encouraged you or didn't told you not to, don't give up or something like that? You know what I'm saying? Do you have anybody along your?
I hate to say it, but I think this is why I am the way I am. I never had that. I never, I didn't really have any encouraging people, and this is everybody's story. So no excuses, guys. But I didn't have the most supportive family. You're not. You shouldn't be. That's the thing, though. If I could say, don't look for people's support. If you just, like if I listened to people when I was starting my clothing company the first time, they'd be like, my dad still sometimes goes, not so much anymore because he found my YouTube channel, but they don't. The people don't understand this, and let me, because before I say what I was going to say, I want to like kind of say something that I learned later on in life. Your parents can't understand what we're doing. Like your mom can't understand, your dad and mom, if you have them, sorry, I don't know. Your parents, people out there, they don't know what the what the fuck are we doing? Excuse my language, sorry. What are we doing on YouTube? So John's like, he's like, I gotta cut that out now. Sorry.
No, you're
Maybe
good.
my accent kind of mumbled
Yeah,
it,
you're good.
hopefully. But stop expecting your parents and your family to understand this weird stuff that our generation is doing. Like they can't understand. Our parents were told go to college and get a good job. That's all they know. Like they don't care if John, if you made 2 million, you get hooked up with Foot Finish Line or Dick's, and they got WHADAFUNK all over the place. You got $2 million contract. They still won't understand until they're in Dick's one day and their friend calls them and says, "Oh, that little thing your son does. I just saw his name on the thing." Then they'll think you're, or if they see you on TV on a commercial or something. That's what our parents' generation valued. Like, they don't understand what we're doing here. So for a younger kid or even an older person, you got to be able to be ready to be called crazy, to be made fun of, to be ridiculed, and still keep going. Like my parents still go, how's your doll things doing? You doing okay with those things? Are you sure? Like my mom still goes, are you sure are you paying, like, can you pay for the bills? Like, are you okay? Like I've been taking care of myself for the last 13 years, self-employed, the last 13 years. There's still, my dad, up until a few years ago, was saying, why don't you go back to Target? Why don't you go back to Target, get a nice, and it's like, until my dad learned YouTube, now my dad watches my YouTube videos and he's like, "Oh my god, you're so funny. I love your videos." And he sent me something to my PO box that I was looking for in a video. Like, you have to kind of just expect that people are not going to know what you're doing
That's
until you're make it. Like
yeah,
you were saying, like some people that even your friends might not understand what you're doing until you make it. Like
yeah.
50 Cent has your hat on. Then they'll be like, "Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, yeah.
You got a cool
I had
clothing
another
brand."
question that I meant to
Yeah,
ask you before that
let's
I
do it.
forgot to. Uh, so when was the moment that you took that leap and you went full time with your making art and being you?
Mm.
Like that, and what
So
was the thing that made you say, now's the time?
so I was
Because I
at
think this
Target.
is sorry, because I think this is
Yeah.
something that can help people
I
who.
think this is, yeah, great question. Again, you're killing it. These questions have been awesome. So I still remember I was at Target. I was blowing up on YouTube, right? Like I was blowing up online. So I was like living this double life where the internet was like, I felt love and it was awesome, right? And everything was like, it felt like it was a nice life. And then I would be like, I would be at Target and the manager would just be up my butt and I would be doing all this stuff. And I was just kind of like, I was just like hating it towards the end there, right? Because I was like, this is going good. And I was like this. And then I did like Bamboozle or one of those music festivals. And I did very well. And I was just kind of like, something? I don't, Target's holding me back because I could just be doing this full time. And I just took the lead. And I was going to put my 2 weeks in. And I just said no, because they were like, if you don't put your 2 weeks in, you're never going to be able to get a job here again. And I said, no, I don't want to. I'm good, glad. I said, thank you. I don't ever want to work here again. And it's been like that. And that's the thing though. It's like, I know people who tried to do their own business, and some people like structure. See, I don't like structure. So I could kick my own butt to get what I need to get done. Other people, they like to be like, okay, at 5 o'clock, I don't have to think about anything.
Hmm.
Like people ask me all the time, like, how do you do stuff? I don't watch movies. I don't watch TV. I work from when I wake up to when I go to bed. That's it. You could ask Hun. I'll try to watch a movie. Like when she goes, we sit down with me. I have to be told, or else I'm just like robot mode. And
Yeah,
I'm sure you can relate to that too. Because if
100%.
John, if you're not working, it's not working.
Exactly. And that's
That's it.
that's right there is a great tip for anybody who's trying to do their own thing, or a
Yeah,
creative person in general. You got to be doing this like you got to if
yeah.
you want to do it, you got to be really really
Yeah, I don't
about it.
care about your excuses.
Yeah.
When I hear people and they go, "I have kids and my family," I think I got more productive when I had a kid.
That's
Because now you
interesting.
have to make that time that you have that's free work.
Mhm.
So I grew up. It's like you have to make it work. I don't like hearing people complain. I don't care what your excuse is. Just make it happen.
That's interesting. Well, all right. So these are all. This has been a great episode. This has been great tips for people who want to like do their own thing, and or
I'm
creative
just a
people in
nut job.
general.
That's also it too.
All right, so this is a part that I'm gonna do on every episode. This is obviously the first episode, so I want to do like your five. We're doing like five favorites, and then we're gonna get into the questions of the people who are in the chat. First off, thank you to everyone in the chat hanging out and watching the show. This is not an
I
interactive
appreciate it.
type of show, so it's gonna be more interview style, and we'll be taking your questions at the end. So if you want to talk to us later on, we both have our own shows, do live shows where you could talk to us at different times. But all right, five favorites. Just a quick thing. Favorite dinosaur?
Oh, T-Rex, easy.
T-Rex. Favorite cereal?
This is a boring one. Honey Bunches of Oats I used to love.
Okay.
But I
Favorite
don't
color?
eat cereal now because it's toxic. It's all like fake stuff in it.
Yeah, you gotta be careful. Favorite color right now?
I always loved red.
Favorite movie?
Oh shit.
It's a hard one.
Big Mama's House.
Nice. All right. Favorite pizza topping?
None.
No, straight regular.
The real Italian way is just plain. If you
Perfect.
have a good pizza, you don't need toppings.
All right, so let's take some questions. I've got a couple questions that people asked, and they got
Cool,
some
let's go.
questions for you. Unfortunately, I didn't get their names, but next
It's
time I'll
okay.
set it up different.
Yeah.
How's little Rocky doing? This is the first question.
I
First,
have a
little
pic-
Rocky is
Yeah,
your
so
son.
yes.
Okay.
I just recently had a kid. Basically last month I had a kid. So I'm a new father and it's been amazing. Like it's not easy, but my wife and I aren't dumb and we didn't think it was going to be easy. I think some people think that it's going to be easy. So we knew it was going to be work, but it's worth it. And I'm telling you, for anyone who's not a parent yet, the best thing I ever did. Like John, when you're going to be a parent, man, it's awesome, dude. It's really every day I get stoked.
I love it. All right, next question. This is a good one. How do I get a girl? They want some how to get they want some Rocco advice how to get a girl.
I already did this on Joe's channel and my channel, but in short, have confidence. Have confidence in yourself. You don't even have to be the best. You have to be the best you. And don't be a slob. Like, think about it. Are you a catch for the girl that you're trying to get? Just think about everyone. Again, goes back to John. Everyone thinks that their ish don't stink and that they're amazing. Everyone can make improvements in themselves. That's all I'm gonna say. Be the best you. Make her make her be proud to be with you. Make her want to be like, oh, that guy's a catch. I'm gonna be with him.
I like that. That's good. That's some
Yeah.
great advice.
And wash your butt. A lot of guys don't be washing their butts. You know what I mean? Make sure you're good, okay? You're not a catch. Listen, guys, you're watching it. You're not a catch, but be a catch. That's okay.
There you go. There you go. All right, so we have another question. Can we get a Ricky the Rat hat accessory for our Fat Cap Joe figures?
Casey wrote that one for sure. So Ricky the Rat, when I sold this figure, right, my original Fat Cap Joe figure, I made a little comic that I made on my printer. Like I printed out on like high quality paper, folded it like mad DIY punk, and it was a story of how he got the rat ears, right?
Oh,
So he basically, there's a character in System Island called oh my god, I can't break this. This is freaking money right here.
yeah, be careful.
So Ricky the Rat is a character in System Island. He basically is not Mickey Mouse. He's a rat. and he fights with Fat Cap Joe. Fat Cap Joe rips his ears off and wears them. So
So
there you go.
when can they get that? Can they get that
One day.
one day?
One day we will make a Ricky the Rat accessory for your Fat Cap Joe. It has to be done.
All right.
Thanks, Casey.
This is another question. Hiya, Rocco. First off, awesome art you're doing. Love it. When you was young in school, did they push you to do art? As when I was in school, my art teacher pushed me to, and it was the best thing I learned to follow your dreams. So were you ever pushed to do this, to do art, or ever?
That's actually a really good question. So, when I was in high school, see, I always did art because I loved it.
Yeah.
You know, graffiti really helped. Like graffiti and my friends, I had creative friends, so we would all just like get together and like draw in house. Like when we were in the house, we would be drawing in the black books. Remember black books?
Mhm.
And then when we went out, we would draw on people's property, which I condone. I definitely do not do that now. Now that I'm a homeowner, it's like, you know, I'm like, don't write on people's stuff. Um, but so I had a supportive high school teacher who was really cool, which I found pictures recently. She let us spray paint in her, like there was a closet, like in the art class. There was a closet and she let us spray paint. And one time we spray painted too much and it seeped into the halls and she got in trouble for us. And that was like a G. Like she didn't have to make us, but I never had encouragement. I never had somebody that was like, you're doing something good, keep going. And when I did, I tried to get into art school and I made a portfolio, you know, when they're like make a portfolio.
Yeah.
I went to the art institute. No, I tried to go to arts institute and then I went to FIT. And the guy that was looking at my portfolio, he goes, what do you want? Like he was asking me like, what do you want from this? Like, and I was like, I don't know. Cause you know, they're always pushing college. Parents, don't push college on your kids if they don't know what they want to do. That's all I'm going to say. It's stupid in my opinion. I'm not going to do it. I'm going to see, what do you like? Go do that. But I say that now, but when he's older, I might not know.
You're gonna be like, all right, go to
so yeah, but like I got there and I remember I'm showing this guy my art and he's like, what do you need? He's like, you don't need this school. If you know what you want to do with your art, just go do it. I still remember that. Like the
That's
guy
funny.
from a guy from FIT that was like looking at the, and I'm so glad I didn't. I went to college. I went to community, cheap, free college, government paid, and I went for a year. And then they said I can't get the money no more to go, so I stopped. I dropped out. So that's my story.
All right, we have a couple more.
Yeah.
What happened with that painting from your grandparents' house?
Whoa, this is
This
a long story though. But basically, I found a painting of a girl, a sexy, busty, old Victorian, like you know, picture like pirate outfits, like old picture of a girl, redhead with busty, and she's like looking kind of at the side. I found it at the flea market like 10 years ago. It was in my mom's house forever. My mom said like when I brought it in, that looks familiar. I found a picture not too long ago because now you know my grandma is sick. It's everyone's listen, grandmas are old, but so my mom's been kind of like clearing out all the pictures. So every time there's like a Thanksgiving or Christmas, my mom puts out a tub of pictures on the table and everyone goes through and picks the pictures you like. I'm going through this tub and I found a picture of the effing painting on a wall from like the 50s or 60s, like it looks like. And I go, hold on. I asked my mom, they go, oh, that's, you know, that's our, you know, your grandparents, that's your grandparents' house. Like, you know, that's her mom's family's house.
Oh
So
wow.
I'm like, what? So I went up and asked my grandma, too bad, like she's a little bit too gone, like to remember stuff. So, but she was like, that was, so I don't know what happened, but somehow my grandma's parents in their living room had the same picture that I found at the flea market.
Did you buy it
From
at the flea market?
I bought it. I have it up in my house.
That's insane. That's
And
really
nobody knows anything.
crazy.
Like nobody knows anything. And it's the dude, it's the weirdest. It must
That's
and when I was at the flea market, normally I don't buy I just kind of something stopped me at the it could have been her, you know, a busty redheaded pretty girl. Something stopped me and it was like, how much is that? And the guy was like $10. I said, oh no. And he went down to $1 or $2. Basically, it was like you have to take it free.
yeah.
He was like, take this. and it's still the weirdest story ever. I don't know what it was, and I
That's
still don't know. And now that it's like, my grandma's like really far gone, and everyone else that would know is not, I'll
yeah.
never know, and that's the scariest part.
Yeah, sorry to hear that about your grandma.
No, it's okay.
But that's
Everybody's grandmas,
but
but
that's
I'm just saying it's
but
just
now you
so
have this
weird.
paint that's so weird. That's wild. That's
Yeah,
a
and I
crazy
and
story.
I looked it up, and it's actually like a so it's I don't it might be the same one, but they lived in Brooklyn, and this was from Jersey. I bought it, so it's like
It's
I don't know,
possible.
dude. I don't know, dude. It's weird.
That's
It's
very
weird. That's all I'm
possible.
gonna say. So weird story. I have a live stream where I went in depth with it. So if you're
Um
interested,
all right, and then we have another question. Rocco, what a funk collab? I'm down.
you never know, man. We talked about this in the past. We're both very busy, so it's
Yeah.
like if we ever have an idea, it'll happen. That's
Yeah.
it.
It's
Yeah,
definitely a possibility, and
yeah.
it's definitely a possibility. All right, so guys, I just want to say, thank you everybody for watching the show. This is the Hype It Up show. We're going to be interviewing other creative people who do creative things and try and go more depth about them. It's going to be less interactive with the live audience until the end when we take your
Mm.
questions. Um
They're
and
more rewatch value. Like
for,
they're gonna be something that you're gonna want to put on when you're in the car and stuff. We
yeah.
had a long talk before we went live.
Yeah, so this is something that people will be able to rewatch whenever they want, learn more about, these awesome people, my friends, which is the reason why like I have a lot of friends who do awesome things. And the reason I wanted Rocco to be the first one is cuz Rocco actually made me he forced me to do live streaming.
Yeah.
Nah.
Yeah, I said get on here. When I was like I'm like looking for people on my live streams. I'm like sent the link. Get
Yeah.
on here.
Yeah, so I
So
was
many
on his
times.
show cuz he Rocco does a live stream every Monday at what is it 8 p.m.
8 p.m. Eastern time.
8 p.m.
Yeah.
Eastern
But
time.
I'm always live random too. So just go check out my channel,
Yeah,
and you never know when I'm live.
yeah, so if you guys don't know, we're going to drop Rocco's links in the chat so you can follow Rocco if you don't already on his YouTube and Instagram. And I just want to say, thank you for being on the show first and
Heck yeah,
foremost
dude.
and for
Yeah.
giving us all this valuable information that I think people could take away from, whether they were a fan from you from the beginning, or if they're just learning about you just now, or if they're just or they're just a creative person in general and they want to, get hyped up. That's what it's about.
Sometimes you need to get hyped up, and I think from what you were telling me about this, I'm excited to see who you have after this. Like I want to watch this show. So it's always fun like having a live streams where it's a party and it's fun, and those are great and those are needed. But like I'm excited to see this because I want, especially with your questions. I think you're a great interviewer, and I can't wait to see who you have on here and what you do with this. Definitely keep it going.
Thank you, bro. I appreciate that. So everyone
Yeah.
who is watching right now, we're gonna be doing this. There's not gonna be a set time. It's gonna be more of a, uh, based on when the people, our guests, are available. So
Mm.
it's not gonna be the same time every time. We'll try to make it like that, but we're not sure exactly how it's gonna be yet. We have to see how it works out with our guests because it's gonna be different guests. And it's not really gonna be a weekly thing. It's gonna be whenever we can, pretty
It's
much.
going to be quality, not quantity.
Exactly. This is more of a show to uh being able to, like you said before, for other people to be able to watch this at any given time. You don't even have to catch this live to enjoy it.
Mm.
So that's what this
Yeah, I
show's
hope
about.
people are looking up Rocco the Great and you pop up because anytime you are, they always show other channels that aren't yours. When you look up something, like say someone looks up What a Funk, they'll probably find if I wrote it in a title before you because they want other people's videos, not just the channel to come up. So hopefully people are finding this in the future and you're watching this and you give What a Funk a subscribe. He's a good dude. And dude, I'm excited for what you're doing. I see you grinding out here, and that's what I always from the beginning liked about you. You're always hustling. You got to be like that, and that's it. Work hard.
Thank you, bro. I really appreciate that. Just one more time, I want to give a huge shout out to the chat for watching the show live and really appreciate everyone for coming through and hanging out with us and having a good time with us. Stay tuned for the next one. We'll see who we have next. And I just want to say thanks again, Rocco, for being here. And thank you, everyone, for watching. Really appreciate you guys. Hype It Up Show, new show on the WHADAFUNK channel. So let's go. Peace out, everybody. Peace.
Goose Father.
Who's father?
We ain't gonna name no names.
I got
no names. What have you, baby?
What? Get your drinks ready. Smoke a joint to this one. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Students of the flyest motherfucker around the town with no helicopter. Baby, keep your distance. This is what the funk. Bitch, I keep it pimpin'. Hey, my main bitch probably sleep at home. Love your Georgia peach. Can I get some dome? Ain't they smoke around me? I recently quit it, but this liquor in me, I probably have hit it. Put your hands up like I got a 45. Yes, I'm screaming, give me the loot. Now, are you ready to die? We do it big, yeah, my knockout snap back. My chain and my watch go, my Jordans from way back. 8-8, a good year, in other words, bitch, you rollin'. Pop a Molly, touch my member that is swollen. And get your fix on my tool. Get your homegirls on the weekend, I know they loving the crew. Woo!
It's just me and my fancy bra.